Hello and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name's Colette and I'm here today to do a reading for all you Scorpios out there. Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising Scorpios. If you don't know where the Moon, Venus and Rising placements are in your chart, there will be a free link in the description box down below for a natal astrological chart for you to go and check out to your own astrology if you'd like to do so. And maybe find out more about where your own astrological planets lie and what that means for yourselves. So this is a reading today for 2020 Scorpios. I am going to apologise and say right now that I'm really sorry. It's the 30th today and I have only just got round to getting your video done. So I'm really sorry I haven't managed to get it done before now, but I am trying to catch up with myself. It's all been really hectic, and that's as much as I'm going to say about that really. So for anybody who has subscribed to my channel and has come back to see my videos, thank you very much. Thank you for subscribing, and to anybody who hasn't subscribed, please could you do so, because I'm trying to grow my channel this year. That is my aim, is to try and make my channel get bigger out there into the world of YouTube. And also could you like this video up as well, because that also helps it to get out into the wider stream of the YouTube world. And lastly, tap the bell if you want to receive any future videos. I have put quite a few videos up on my channel both last year and this year, so if you don't find your message here in the 2020 reading for today, Scorpio, you might want to go and check out one of those other previous signs that we were talking about, your Moon, Venus or rising sign, so you can get a bigger picture, more insight maybe as to what's going on in your world and in your life. So the reading that I'm doing today, I have set out as a clock with each number on the clock being a month, and each month has got two cards from two separate decks, because I like to get more of a kind of in-depth reading, in the sense that I don't feel it's quite so flat, not quite so stagnant as with just one deck of cards when you're doing a reading like this. And also there are usually there are two cards in the center of the reading, which I kind of see as the overall energy for the year. And I will return to these energies as I go through the reading, Scorpio, if I feel that it's kind of relevant or necessary. And I may also bring in some astrology as well if I also feel that that is relevant or necessary at this moment in time as well. Another thing is, on my channel you will find, before I forget, some new moon and full moon videos, because I also try and cover them for the collective, and also any major astrological events that may come up. I will also try and do a collective reading for them as well, so you may want to go and check them out as well. So you have three cards in the middle, two from one deck and one from the other deck, Scorpio. And I will start your reading with your overall energy for 2020, and the first card being the Nine of Cups, which has come out in the right way, standing up the right way. And this is a card of wish fulfillment, as well as being a card of reunion, of something coming back to you, something that you thought was long gone. But it's coming out with the Star as well, so there is a feeling here that this may well happen. Your wishes may be fulfilled, something that you thought was long gone, which could be a relationship. It could also relate to family members, it could relate to friendships, it could relate to business. But it's a situation where you thought that this was over. But the Nine of Cups is saying differently. The Nine of Cups is saying that this is going to, on an overall 2020 like, because this is your overall energy for the year. So you may find that you keep coming back to this energy. But I do get the feeling with the Star of Hope here as well, that there could well be a feeling that you have to go through a lot before this happens, because this is a Major Arcana card, this is a Minor Arcana card. So you may feel this is, Major Arcana cards are longer lasting energies than the Minor Arcana cards as well. So you may feel with Pandora's box that's being opened up here, and all these nasties are kind of being released into the world, and there is quite an element of that going on at this moment in this world for all of us at this time. But for you, Scorpio, I get the feeling this could be you feeling as though you are kind of having to go through a lot of trials, a lot of things that just keep getting in your way, almost like you almost feel as though you get here or you get this star, because I think that this kind of represents the thing that you're wanting. This is your wish, if you like, but it's like you've got to go through all of this, Scorpio, before you get to this, because it was only after all of these kind of insects and all the suffering, really, that's what this relates to me, is all the suffering that got released from Pandora's box after being told not to open it, which of course is the worst thing to say to anybody. Don't do it. It's the first thing you want to do. But if she hadn't have done it, this star would never have been allowed out either, the star at the very bottom. So it's kind of saying to me that there is a need to hang on to your hope this year. Just keep hanging on to hope. Just keep wishing, keep hoping, keep positive. Keep positive, keep looking up, keep looking beyond all of this crap, if you like, which you may feel is just kind of ongoing over 2020, Scorpio. That you have to deal with one thing and then you think you've done that and something else comes along, and it's kind of just an kind of going slaughter, if you like, of kind of stuff just keep coming up for you. But I don't think that this is emotional stuff so much. I think this is more kind of actual physical things that you're going to have to deal with. And it's come out with the 8 of Air. These 3 cards here. And the 8 of Air for me in this deck, the 8 of Air usually talks about being trapped, and in some ways she is, because she's kind of up on this cloud and she can't kind of get down. But she's not trapped in the same way as you would normally see it, with swords all around her and a kind of feeling that she's hemmed in. It's not so much about that. I get the feeling that this is more about kind of looking at a situation from a different vantage point. It is to do with mind. It's always air, and swords is all about the logical mind. It's all about the brain. It's all about our thinking processes and how we do something, how we think about something before we do it, and the way that we do it. So there could be elements here of you feeling as though you are kind of trapped in a certain way of having to do things, which could also have something to do with this energy here as well. But because she's on this kind of cloud tower, I kind of get the feeling that she's kind of looking down on the world from a different kind of, again, a different perspective, a different way of looking at things. Kind of seeing a bigger picture by elevating your mind. Maybe that's also got something to do with it, Scorpio. Maybe it's saying elevate your mind above all of this. All of this. Don't let this bring you down. Keep your eye on this and rise above it. So those are the energies in the overall. So I'm going to start off with January, which I know it's kind of over already. But the Justice card has come out here saying to me that there has been a situation, or you're still in a situation at this moment in time, because it's a Major Arcana card. This is a longer lasting energy, as I was saying previously. And for me, this Justice card, this is Athene, the goddess of, well, literally the goddess of justice, but also the goddess of strategy, logic, very much of the thinking mind again, very much the kind of air, sword energy. She holds the sword of truth here, and she kind of represents liberty as well. Justice, liberty, freedom, all those kind of things. She has the scales in her hand here, so she has to kind of balance things up, and in order to do so she needs to be able to take her emotional mind, or all her feelings, shall we say, out of the picture, out of the equation, in order to be able to cut through and see the truth of something, which is what this sword is for here. So Scorpio, you may find that you yourselves need to be a lot more this way inclined, which, being a water sign yourselves, possibly isn't always easy. Or you may find that you have been like this, and it's but you have become too much like this as well, because there can also be an element of kind of becoming over logical and ignoring your emotions. And Scorpio does have a tendency to do that as well, because the emotions of Scorpios are so deep that they don't necessarily know how deep they are themselves. The chessboard here is quite interesting for me as well, because it kind of talks of being like a chess piece ourselves, like a chess player, taking on any of those pieces and playing out a role in life. Like all the world's a stage kind of thing. There has got elements of that to it in this card for me. And also that every action has a reaction. So there is always consequences from our actions. And this is something that she says as well. And this owl sitting on her shoulder represents the wisdom of the ancient knowledge, if you like. And so, yeah, as I was saying, there's this kind of a sense of what is going to happen has already kind of been decided because of what has gone before. So it's kind of recognizing that every action from our past creates our present, which then creates our future. So it kind of says that there is already, the outcome has already been decided. But it's come out with the 9 of Earth, which is in reverse. And the feeling I get from this, because this is about self-confidence, this is about self-worth, this is about you kind of recognising that you have got yourself to where you are, and that you should be pleased with that, because it's a Earth card. It's all about the physical realm. It's all about kind of how we make our money and how we make it work for us. So it's all about value, really, the Pentacles, about what we value, how we value it, why we value it. But when it's in reverse, I get the feeling with this Justice card as well, that something that has happened, although I feel that the outcome is positive, because, or it's positive for you in the sense that it's upright, it's not in the reverse. But you yourself here, Scorpio, are in reverse, I feel. Or somebody else. But I get the sense, there's a feeling here that somehow you don't feel as though this is a victory. Even though it may be a victory for you, it's kind of making you question your own self-worth, your own integrity, the way that you act, how you've behaved. And I'm not saying that you haven't done the right thing, but I just feel as though it's kind of, if it had come out this way, I would say, you know, that you've deserved whatever this is. You feel as though you've deserved it. You feel. Never mind what anybody else thinks about it. You yourself, because this card is very much about the individual, that you feel as though you've deserved it. But because it's in reverse, I just get the feeling that there is something here that you feel as though you don't, for some reason, deserve the outcome. Even though the outcome, I feel, isn't... Okay, I'm going to change that. Even though the outcome is the outcome that you want. If that makes any sense to you, Scorpios. And then we move into this month coming up, February, with the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords, I feel, is a kind of carry-on from this energy here. Almost here as though, because this is the card of nightmares, it's stress, it's worry, it's fear, it's kind of, it could also have something to do with this as well. This star card, all these kind of nasties. This is what these kind of represent in many ways. This is the Furies. And these, metaphorically speaking, are kind of the madness in our own heads, the things that drive us insane, that nobody else can see or really understand, but it kind of puts us into a state of, it can put us into a state of being frozen with fear, of not wanting to take any action because we fear the outcome. And it can have that kind of strong influence on us. But it is also a ending, or almost an ending, because it's a 9. It's saying that, you know, the 10 is next. So it's almost time for you to kind of release whatever this is. But because it's in the mind, it's kind of mental torment. It's kind of you driving yourself crazy, really, with that kind of constant repetition that just keeps going over and over. It's a card of not being able to kind of find solutions, find a way out. I always kind of like to see it a bit like being down a deep dark well or in a deep dark tunnel, and you can see the light at the end, but the light seems to be getting further and further away the kind of closer that you get to it. And so you feel as though there's kind of, it's never ending, that you're not kind of catching up with it, or you're not getting anywhere with it at all. But that is kind of illusionary in itself, because this is the 9. And it's come out with another 9, although this 9 is in reverse, and I get the feeling that this is kind of you not recognising that you are so close to something changing. Because this is what this card is about for me. It's about something that's going to change. Something that's going to bring in a new hope, I feel, as well, because, like, you know, you've got the star here and you've got this star here as well. So I do feel as though it is about kind of bringing in this new hope. But at this moment in time, in February, you are feeling like nothing's ever going to get any better. And you're kind of, because this is in reverse, like I said, you're kind of missing what's happening around you. You're kind of missing the magic, missing the kind of transformation that is already taking place. Because you're so focused on this, you're not able to see this. But both of these cards are 9s. This is more to do with creative, fiery energy, fire and wands. This energy of kind of change and passion and drive, the inner drive of creativity. So somehow I get the feeling that these two are closely connected, and also that it's connected to this. And of course also you had another 9 here as well, so you've got 3 9s here. And of course when you add 9 up, it will always come up to kind of like you get 9 again. So there is something here that is saying to me that these are almost all completed. But at this moment in time, in 2020, you're not kind of seeing the ending of these cycles yet. So as we move into March, Scorpio, we have the energy of the Queen of Cups. Sitting upright, in the right position. It's kind of saying to me that either you yourself, Scorpio, which this does kind of represent for me actually, kind of with the snakes as well, I find it quite kind of scorpionic. And she's got this apple in her hand as well. And the apple kind of speaks of knowledge and wisdom and literally sitting in her emotions here. She is also, in some ways, I suppose the snakes and the kind of apple thing can also represent the card of Eve as well, the first female energy, so to speak, in our modern understanding of it anyway. And, you know, totally immersed in her element, the water element. This is the Scorpio, Cancer and Pisces cards of intuition, feeling, on a deeper level, understanding the world on a deeper level, understanding the world through your feelings and through your intuition and through your knowing of something. And she's very much about coming from the heart. Even her dress is very green, and all around her is very green. It is very kind of heart chakra energy. So this could be what this transformation and this change is about as well. This change here could be about you coming out of this kind of logical space of feeling like everything, you've had to kind of question everything and kind of come from a very unemotional place for a while. You've had to kind of use your logic rather than your intellect and your, not your intellect, sorry, your intuition and your feeling and your emotions. But that is very Scorpio energy, the Queen of Cups. Very psychic, very aware. Sitting very strongly in her power, very kind of aware of the element of water. Yeah, water itself being quite a strong, powerful element of change as well. And it's come out with the Two of Pentacles, which is all about you kind of juggling something, all about you balancing something out here, all about you kind of, maybe it is to do with your emotions and your logic, and you kind of realizing that you have to kind of have both, and that it's okay to have both. It's okay to have the emotional needs and feelings and wants that you have. It's okay to come from your heart and to want to give that to somebody, give this somebody your cup for them to feel for you. and for you to fill up for yourself. But there is this sense of kind of Two of Pentacles being a new energy. You're balancing something within yourself. You're kind of thinking, which one? This or that? Does it have to be one or the other? Can it be both? Can I kind of have both the best worlds? So that's the energy for March. Very emotional energy, I feel, but an emotional energy that's going to be balanced out. And as we move into April, we have the Ten of Pentacles, but it is in reverse. So it's saying to me that there is a situation here of kind of a completion of you, maybe to do with this Nine of Cups as well, this wish fulfillment. But the Ten of Cups is all about security. It's all about achieving what it is that you really want to achieve. Again, it can be family, it can be partner, it can be business, it can be you standing on your own 2 feet. Kind of this card here, but it's in reverse, and it's come out with the Page of Fire, which is also in reverse. And the Page of Fire usually talks about an energy of kind of leaving something behind, a creative energy, moving away from what has been into something new. It's a young energy, so it needs to be nurtured and taken care of and looked after. And it's quite possible that because they're both in reverse, and this is a 10, so this is a completion. This is something that you now need to kind of move on from, having achieved this, or feeling as though you've kind of maybe achieved this. It's now saying, where are you going next? What are you going to do next? It doesn't mean you have to walk away and leave whatever this was behind, but it's almost like you have to kind of rebuild on it, or build, like, see this as a foundation in a way, and then kind of take it to another level. Because at the moment I feel as though this has been, maybe there's a sense of not valuing whatever this has to offer you. Maybe Scorpio, it could be to do with a family situation as well, that you're kind of walking or leaving behind, or not valuing, not seeing the value of what this has to offer. Maybe you're feeling that it's too stifling, that there's a sense that you need to leave something and start something fresh. Again, that could be family, that could be a relationship, that could be business or friendship, but there's just a sense of this situation here being something that's kind of reached its end. It's come to its conclusion. And the Page of Fire is saying, find something else. Find something new to put your time and your energy and your effort into, if you like. There's a tiger down here, which I kind of see as a protection energy as well, quite interestingly. In a sense, I kind of get the feeling of new worlds as well. Like maybe exploring places that you haven't been, but just new worlds, just something different, something that's kind of opening up for you that wasn't open to you before, maybe. Because there's moon here and these kind of energies of something different. And then we move into May. And in May, we find the Hermit, which was in reverse. And she's kind of saying to me that there's this period of time where you need to look within, but you might not want to do so. And this could also have something to do with this as well. As you leave April and move into May, put it that way around, makes more sense. As you leave April here and move into May, you may find yourself having to kind of question your own needs, your own understanding of who you are, what you've become. Because the Hermit is very much to me about this kind of chrysalis stage, this kind of butterfly, moth, pre-butterfly and pre-moth, that kind of pupae, chrysalis, kind of wrapping yourself up in your own kind of your own world, really. Kind of shutting out the outside. But because it's in reverse, I get the feeling that this is something, I always see this as kind of reluctance. A reluctance to have to do this, a kind of feeling of, it just kind of happens in a way. It's just something that you find yourself maybe not going out as much as you normally would, not socializing as much as you normally would, just kind of removing yourself from the normal scene of what you're used to. And becoming much more kind of insular and much more kind of self-contained in a way. But it is all about going within. It is all about kind of looking for the answers. And that's why the lamp is here as well, because the lamp is kind of you finding a new path, lighting your way on your new path, Scorpio. And you have this scythe here as well, which is saying to me that, you know, you can cut through what you no longer need in your life, things that have outgrown you. And that could also have something to do with this as well, because this being reversed, the Ten of Pentacles here, I get the kind of feeling that this is about something that you've outgrown, something that you need to kind of, like I say, leave behind, but maybe also have it as a foundation. I don't know, I just get the feeling it's got something to do with this here. I remember I said at the beginning that you could find that you're going to keep having these kind of moments of going through lots of periods of your year, shall we say, where you're just going to feel that it's all too much, it's all coming at you too fast. But you're needing to find a different perspective. You're needing to rise above it all so that you can look down and see it from a different height, from a different way of looking at things. So this has actually come out with the King of Water, which again is your element, Scorpio. So to me, it's saying that this is about you really kind of trying to find the inner you. We have the Queen and the King of Water here. So this could also be about you, like I was saying, the kind of Nine of Cups, you kind of trying to find that person that you feel is your reunion, is your soulmate, is your one divine energy. Because this is Aphrodite here, is kind of blessing the reunion of Eros and Psyche after all the tribulations that Psyche has to go through in order to get back Eros. So the King and the Queen have come out together, the water energies. And the King's come out with the Hermit in reverse. So this could have something to do, like I say, this could have something to do with like a power couple, or a couple who are very much in tune with each other, who understand each other very deeply, because they both have maybe that kind of element in their chart as well. Both may have a lot of water. And before I go on, I will just say that the cards, I read them as whatever the gender is on the card. It doesn't mean that this is a female energy or that this is a masculine energy, because it can be either way around. We all have both within us. Sometimes it's stronger in one than it is in the other, if you know what I mean. Sometimes men are very masculine and women are very feminine. Sometimes men can be very feminine and women can be very masculine. So to me, it's all about the energy that the card is representing, and it's all about what I read it as, sorry, whatever gender is actually on the card, because I just find it easier. So I feel somehow that this is about you trying to find that compassion for yourself, because this card for me is all about that love, that compassion, that sensitivity, that caring, that nurturing. If you see his face here, he's kind of really joyful about this tiny little fish. It's like, you know, he's holding out his hand as if to say, come and I will take care of you. Come, you know, you are as important to me as anything else. You may just be a little fish, but to me, you're just as important. And I get the feeling, because this has come out with the Hermit, that this is about you, Scorpio, needing to learn that you are of just as much value for yourself. This is about you finding this love within for yourself. And that's come out in May, and in June we have the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is all about nostalgia. It's all about melancholy. It's all about looking back on the past. It's all about kind of thinking, if only I'd done something this way instead of doing it a different way, then I might have had a different outcome. It might have been a different story to where I am now. Where I am now is sitting on this rock and I'm very alone, and although I can't change what has happened in the past, I can change what is coming in the future. And you're kind of looking into this cup and reflecting. Because it's in reverse, I'm going to say that this is a situation where you're not quite in that space of realising that your future can be just, or that you can help to create your future, shall we say. That all this is in the past, but you're still kind of stuck in that past present space, if you like. So you're bringing your past into your present, and you haven't quite realised that, you haven't quite got to the point of realising that you, like I said, can't change this, but you can change this. But that's not quite there yet. You haven't quite, even though this is in your future in June, I feel that this is where you're going to find yourself. And it's also come out with Patience or Temperance, and this is also in reverse. And Temperance, for me, in most decks, it always talks of a card of relationships. It's always about relationships, because Temperance can only ever exist within a relationship. It's an energy that isn't there. If there isn't a relationship there, then there is no Temperance, because it's all about kind of understanding each other on a deeper level. It's all about kind of communication, keeping the flow going from one heart to the other heart, keeping the heart energy open. And if that heart energy becomes closed, blocked, locked down, a relationship just dies. It no longer exists. So there is an energy here as well with the Patience card of kind of time as well. I think that's the message for this particular card, is that she has these kind of watches. Can't quite see where it is. I'll just take my glasses off for 2 seconds. Yeah, literally. There. There's a watch on her breast. There, oops, there. And it's kind of saying that time heals as well. Time is a healer. and that, you know, you can't rush that process. And I think that that's what this is saying here, is there is a need for you to kind of take time out. And also with this here as well, the Hermit card, the reluctance here as well, and just this feeling of, and also maybe reluctance here as well, to look at it and to actually recognize that that's where you're at and that's what you're needing to do, is kind of love yourself through all of this. But ultimately, this is about you finding your own star within yourself, your own joy, your own happiness, in order to be able to find it elsewhere. First of all, you've got to find it within. This card can also talk of somebody from your past, somebody who you've had a relationship with in your past, somebody who you are maybe hoping, wishing, praying to have a relationship with again, something that ended, and something that you're wishing and hoping to get back. But in June, this is a time for you to kind of reflect and heal and look after yourself and find your own kind of identity, if you like. Find your own identity and your own love. What it is that you love, what it is that you want to care for, or how to care for yourself as well. There could be elements of that there too, Scorpio. And then we move into July, and we find the Seven of Wands in reverse, which is saying to me there's a situation coming up where you're going to have to stand up for your beliefs. You're going to have to stand up for yourself, stand up for who you are, stand up, maybe even stand up for this as well, in the sense of somebody, because it's come out with the Justice card in reverse, which is interesting because you had the Justice card coming out in February as well. This time it was upright, this time it's in reverse, and I feel that there's a feeling here that whatever it is that you do, you feel as though you can't do right for doing wrong. Come July. This could be a work situation as well. It's a creative situation. It's a situation where you put a lot of your creativity into it, because it's fire. It can often be to do with you battling with other people. It doesn't have to be a work situation. It can also be a family situation. It can be a friendship situation. But because this is upside down, I don't get the feeling that it's about law so much as, like I said, it's about you not being able to do right for doing wrong. And this also could have something to do with the changes that are taking place within you as well. And people maybe not being able to accept that. And you feeling as though you're having to kind of battle your way through all this. Which again, I feel is where this card comes in. This constant battling. And you kind of trying to be just, trying to be fair, trying to keep things balanced, trying to kind of make people see that you're not out to get them or hurt them or upset them. But that doesn't mean that people are going to kind of just accept that, because people find it difficult when people change to actually allow that sometimes to happen, because it kind of threatens them as well, which is what this is kind of about. It's about them being threatened here. It threatens other people because other people don't necessarily know how to deal with something that changes. That's why we all have so much trouble with the kind of unknown, and why we all want to keep the status quo, or so many people want to keep the status quo, because we know it. It's there, it's easy, we understand it. When it comes to something new coming in, something different, something that's not been dealt with before. It's kind of all like going back to learning your alphabet all over again. And people don't necessarily want to be doing that. People like to know what they know. So that's kind of what I get the energy of in July for you, Scorpio. And in August, we have the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups is in reverse. And it's all about you kind of going down into the depths, down into the very kind of depths of your own emotions and your own feelings. And this could well be from this energy as well. And this Injustice card, and just this sense of feeling that you are I kind of get the feeling of you feeling like you're alone, that you're on your own, that you don't have the support system that you need or that you'd like, Scorpio. This is about walking away from something, and this here is about Psyche walking away from all these kind of trials and tribulations, as I was talking about earlier with the 6 here. This kind of represents those trials and tribulations that she's been through in the past, whether that's in the same relationship or in different relationships, but it's kind of still emotionally there, still emotionally attached. And so this is kind of saying that this is you becoming aware that you have to deal with all of this if things are going to change, if you are going to allow yourself to really go down into the depths of your emotions, which is really the only place that we ever really can change, is by facing our deepest, darkest, not just fears, but our emotions, the things that kind of keep us trapped, the things that kind of keep us repeating the same story over and over again. It can have something to do with our past, our generational past, our family life, school, friends, just anything that has had emotional effect on us. Often it's to do with relationships, close relationships. Again, that can be family, because our families are the first people that we ever have relationships with, so they kind of set the scene, if you like, for what we can experience later in our lives. And it's come out with the King of Air, and the King of Air is very much about perception. It's very much about kind of seeing things clearly. You may find that there will be somebody who has this ability around you, Scorpio, who may be somebody like a mentor, an older like teacher, possibly. And I say teacher in a kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, a kind of loose way, not necessarily like a teacher at school or a teacher that kind of teaches you educationally, but somebody who has wisdom, age and experience, who's going to give you the kind of insight, if you like, and the ability to be able to open up to that world of, I just kind of get the feeling of rising above it, rising above those emotions, because this is an 8 as well that you've got come out here. This is the 8 of Cups, and this is the 8 of Air, which is your overall energy as well. But if this person does enter your life, Scorpio, or if this is somebody who you are walking away from, or if this is somebody who you've had a relationship with for a long time, again, it could be a father figure, it could be an uncle, a brother, or it doesn't have to be a masculine energy either. But I get the feeling that it is a masculine energy, purely because it's come out as a masculine card. that but this is about you finding that perception within yourself, finding that inner wisdom, that kind of inner knowing. If you look at this card, wearing his mask here, he has very kind of piercing eyes, almost like he has the ability to see through things, right to the center, right to the core, kind of cut out all the BS, cut out all the kind of all this stuff in many ways, cut out all this and just see this, get to this point, get to the kind of rising above it and seeing the hope and the wisdom, the hope and the kind of joy and not to dwell in the past, but to release the past. Maybe that's also what this is about as well, because she is kind of releasing these feathers down here as well, kind of shedding her feathers. So there could also be an element of that as well, that this is kind of the past being released and let go of. Past being represented by the 8 of Cups. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune, again reversed. And the Wheel of Fortune to me is all about kind of coming to a realization, again because it's in reverse. I feel as though this may be something that takes place at a later date, something that you're going to kind of realize later down the line, if you like, that all of us kind of create our, and this is kind of what I was saying earlier as well, that we create by our actions. The outcome has already been decided as to where on this wheel we are going to be, relating to how we believe or what the energies that we put out. So it's a bit, for me, the Wheel of Fortune is a bit like the law of attraction. So if you see yourself as the center of this, of your own wheel, and all this energy that you're putting out here in each of these rays is kind of bringing back whatever it is that you're expecting to happen. This card is inner as well. It's kind of its inner cave. So I always see caves as being the inner realm. And there's a lot, you've got a lot of that going on here with the Hermit as well, and the 8 of Cups are going down here as well. So you have quite a lot of inner world from May onwards. You may find that you're kind of dealing with a lot of your own inner past or introspection, kind of looking at the world in a different way. I also feel that with this as well. Learning to look at the world in a different way. Maybe also realizing that you don't have to be, and I'm kind of sometimes feel a bit reluctant to say this, but kind of not to be the victim in this as well. Kind of seeing that, you know, you do have some control over this, even though it's in reverse, which I feel at the moment is where the energy that you're going to be in September, when you get round to September, you're going to be in this energy of feeling that you maybe are, like, you know, just a cog in a wheel, or a victim, or somebody who has no control over their life, that it just kind of keeps happening to you. It could also have something to do with these energies here as well, particularly this one. And it's come out with the Messenger of Water. Water being, again, your own element, your own psychic realm, your own intuition, your own wisdom, inner, And to me, this is saying, listen to that little voice within. That's the message that I get from this today, is listen to this little voice that is trying to reach you. And something here that you're not listening to, which is why you keep going round and round on this wheel and feeling that you don't have any say in the matter, Scorpio. She's very, very slowly opening her eyes here as well. Very slowly. So it's almost like she's coming to a realization. She's beginning to realize something. She's beginning to recognize something. But that's today what I'm picking up from this little seahorse here is kind of like, you know, this is the messenger. He's come here to give her a message. And the message is actually from within yourself. This is you having to listen to that inner voice. Your inner knowing. It could come from outside, but I don't feel that it will, because the fact that this is all very inner here, and this is a major arcana again, and this is a minor arcana. So I get more of a feeling that this major arcana, being a major energy, is going to be more about you finding your realization from within. But this is very much about within energy. Oops, sorry about that. Let me just pick this up. But I will just say you do have a lot of water energy in your reading here today, Scorpio. And as you get into October, we find the Eight of Swords, which we have here as well. Now this is very, very different energy. Although it's the same card, kind of. This one, you can see that he is literally trapped, or he believes he's literally trapped, because all these swords are in the ground in front of him, and he's got Apollo, the sun god here, who he has to answer to purely by the fact that they're both masculine, and Apollo, kind of patriarchal god, he has to answer to him. And these furies here are kind of what has been unleashed in his own mind for the actions that he has taken, and it's his own madness from something that he's already done. But the swords placement are all in front of him, and he's only trapped by his own belief that he's trapped. He's not trapped at all. It's his mind that's keeping him trapped. It's his thoughts, his thinking process that is telling him that he can't go beyond this point, that this is where he's going to stay. And this kind of relates to the 8 comes out obviously before the 9, and you had the 9 here as well, Scorpio, at the very beginning in January. Sorry about that. Just going to take a quick slurp of my tea. And so this is the follow-on energy from the 8. This kind of trappedness turns into something much bigger and much more longer lasting, because you've really convinced yourself there is no way out of this. This is where I am. But if you look behind, or if he was to look behind, he would see that all he has to do is literally turn around and walk away. The escape route is behind him. But he's so focused on this that he can't see anything else. And that kind of represents our thought pattern, our thought process, getting so stuck in a way of being that we can't kind of move it out of that rut, which is literally what he needs to do. And that Scorpio has also come out with the Empress card here, which is in reverse. I think this was in reverse. Was this in reverse? The Empress was in reverse. And this is saying, to me, that this represents the very feminine energies. And you may feel here that there is something that is kind of keeping you trapped, to do with possibly a mother, a sister, a aunt, any kind of female relative, or anybody who to you kind of represents that energy of mother, because it's the Empress, and the Empress represents the mother figure. But when she's upside down, she represents the kind of, for me, the kind of I like to see it two ways, as kind of the motherer and the smotherer. The kind of energy of maybe somebody who won't let you go. Maybe the feeling of you being very trapped in this energy, trapped by somebody who doesn't want to allow you to, this could just be for some of you Scorpios, doesn't want to allow you to leave a situation and kind of maybe move on and grow up. Somebody who very much wants to keep you where they have you. But again, it is your own mind that is allowing that to happen. This feeling of being trapped, this feeling of finding of no way out, is your own mind here. This kind of represents your mind, if you like, the madness of the mind, the untamed mind. And the Empress kind of has this very powerful kind of, she represents Mother Nature, and like Mother Nature she can be nurturing, loving, giving, caring, or she can be a storm that will rip things to shreds and destroy and cause havoc. And so there is two sides to this energy. So that Scorpio could also be having a part that this is about, that this plays a part in October for you. This kind of need to break free, I feel, from this energy that has kind of kept you in a, how can I put it, in a situation of feeling as though you can't go beyond where you've been already. A feeling of like, this is who I am, this is how I have to stay. And this could also have something to do with, for some of you Scorpios, this could have something to do with relatives, in the sense that it's a tradition that's passed down, or has been passed down via the female line for centuries, maybe even. And you are feeling like you're trapped in this situation. You don't want to be a part of it anymore. You don't want to keep on with that situation. You don't want to keep that tradition going. And then as we move into November, we have the energy of the Two of Pentacles, which is kind of saying to me, it's in reverse again, but it's kind of saying to me that this is you branching out on your own. This is you, I wouldn't say reluctant or resistant, but I would say that you're very kind of unsure of how you're going to go about it, unsure of meeting all your needs, unsure of being able to stand on your own 2 feet and actually make this work for you. Again, this could be a relationship, it could be a business, it could be family. Although I feel this is more to do with you just kind of branching out on your own and starting out your life afresh, anew, something different, something, because I get the feeling that this is more to do with kind of you having to do what you've been told you should do. And this is more about you standing on your own 2 feet. But like I said, I don't think it's reluctant. In a way it might be reluctant, because there may be a fear element behind it as well. Like I say, you don't know how you're going to do it, how it's going to work out. And it's come out with the 5 of Earth. So there is a feeling here with the 5 of Earth, there is a feeling of being kind of shut out. And that's why I feel, if you look at this card as well, there's a kind of feeling that she's kind of almost disappearing into the background. Almost like she doesn't want to be seen as well, or he doesn't want to be seen, but this energy is kind of trying to camouflage itself almost. Doesn't want to be recognized. And that's what I get from this as well, that there's this energy here that you're kind of branching out on your own, literally. You turn into this tree here. That pun was not meant. But literally kind of trying to become your own person. But the only way you can do that is by kind of blending into the background. Trying to disappear and become almost like, yeah, camouflaged, almost like just like not here anymore. That's the sense that I'm getting from this. Feeling I'm not here anymore. I've just become part of the furniture almost. But I do get the sense that it's to do with something where you're having to kind of stand on your own 2 feet, and in order to do so, you really do have to hide. Because I don't get the feeling that this is about somebody kind of pushing somebody away, or I feel more that this is about a decision that has been made by yourself. But it's almost like you don't really know what the consequences are going to be. But you are trying to kind of, yeah, blend into the background. I get the feeling of blend into the background, camouflage, hide away, stay hidden, and just start afresh. And then in December, as we come round to the end of the year, we have the Queen of Pentacles, who is sitting in her throne in reverse, which is saying to me there's a situation here where somebody is not feeling too forgiving to somebody. When it's up the right way, this Queen is very secure. She's very strong in herself. She knows who she is. She has her own value. She's well aware of how to look after herself and others. She's very giving. She's very caring. She's almost like the, in some ways, very similar to the Empress energy, because they're both Earth, literally Mother Nature, Earth, planet Earth. That's how I see the Empress. There's very kind of powerful feminine energy. And the Queen of Pentacles, which is the earth signs of Taurus, Capricorn and Virgo, very much rooted in the ground, very solid, very kind of grounded energy when they're in the upright. But when they're in the reverse, it's very similar to this energy again. Doesn't forgive easily. And I often say to people that this Queen, if you can imagine her in her castle with a big moat around her, and she sits there and people come and visit her, and she'll feed them, she'll take care of them, she'll give them everything they need, she'll be a great hostess, she'll look after them, she'll give them all the best of the best until they do her wrong. And if they do her wrong once, she'll forgive them. She won't be happy, but she'll forgive them. Do her wrong twice, you'll start feeling the effects. But do her wrong 3 times, and the bridge of that moat will be pulled up whenever you come to visit. And it will take a lot for that bridge, or that moat, yeah, that bridge over that moat, should I say, to be put back down again. And so because it's in that in the reversed side, I get the feeling that this is very much about either you, Scorpio, feeling like this, either you kind of taking care of yourself now and feeling like you don't want to have to deal with whatever this was, that you yourself are not feeling very forgiving, or else there's somebody in your life who is not feeling very forgiving towards you. Or maybe it's a situation of both. Maybe neither of you feel very forgiving towards each other. But there is something here that says to me that there is somebody who's kind of drawn up that bridge. They've kind of separated themselves, and I think that that's what this is about as well. This kind of camouflage, hiding away, kind of, you know, and come knocking on my door and I'm not going to be in. I'm not ready to forgive you. And it's come out with the Chariot, and the Chariot is saying this is about balance of head and heart. This is about somebody who's having to kind of rethink their path. Because this head and heart energy is literally about kind of going off one way or the other. The two horses represent that kind of head and heart energies. And in order for the Chariot to kind of move forward, you need to keep everything in balance, which again was something that came out earlier as well with the Two of Earth here. This need to kind of balance things up in order for things to be. And also, of course, the Justice cards as well. They're very much about balance and harmony. So this is about kind of driving forward energy, because it's in the upright. It's driving forward energy, fast moving energy. But in order to get where you want to go, you have to kind of keep your horses in check, as in don't veer off too far that way and don't veer off too far in the opposite direction. Otherwise, you're going to end up stranded, because if one horse goes off that way and one horse goes off that way, you're going to end up stranded somewhere else, and it could be kind of in the middle of nowhere. So that's what this card kind of says to me, is kind of trying to keep ahead of a situation, trying to kind of move forward, but move forward in a balanced kind of, rather than angry or pissed off or unforgiving, which could also be what this is about as well, the unforgiving. But I just get the feeling that there's somebody who wants to move on from this situation. They want to move on from it fast. But in order to do so, you're going to have to keep things in balance. You're going to have to keep checking that you're not kind of veering off too far in one direction or the other. It's all about head and heart, which has pretty much been, Scorpio, when I look over at your reading, pretty much been all about your reading. Your reading has been very much about the balancing of the head and the heart energies, with the amount of water and air energy or swords energy that has come out in this reading. I would say that it is very much about that kind of head and heart situation, and just kind of keeping that hope going and those wishes, remembering what it is that you really want and kind of going for it and not allowing other things to get in the way. So that's where I'm going to leave your reading today, Scorpio. I say thank you very much for listening. I hope this has been of some help to you. If it has, could you please, like I said, subscribe, like my video, also tap the bell to receive future videos. And if you think anybody else would get any benefit from it, feel free to share it online, and hopefully I will see you back again soon. Have a wonderful 2020. Take care, Scorpio.